The Ukrainian president will travel to Turkey for peace talks on May 15 and expects Russia's leader Putin to also attend, in accordance with a proposed ceasefire set to begin on May 12. In his evening address, Zelenskyy stressed that Ukraine and its partners have long proposed a full and unconditional ceasefire to last long enough to provide the necessary foundation for diplomacy. Kyiv is awaiting a clear response from Moscow.
Here in Ukraine, we have absolutely no problem engaging in negotiations. We are ready for any format. I will be in Turkey this Thursday, May 15th, and I expect Putin to come to Turkey as well, personally. And I hope that this time Putin won't be looking for excuses as to why he can't make it. We are ready to talk to end this war. Thursday, Turkey. President Trump has expressed support. All the leaders support this.
On Saturday, 4 leaders of the coalition of the willing, French President Emmanuel Macron, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, and the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz arrived in Kyiv for the first meeting to be held in Ukraine.
We have agreed that a full and unconditional ceasefire for at least 30 days should begin on Monday, May 12th. Together we demand this from Russia. We know that the United States of America supports us in this.
After the meeting, all the leaders held a phone conversation with US President Trump.
All of us here, together with the US, are calling Putin out. If he's serious about peace, then he has a chance to show it now by extending the VE-Day pause into a full, unconditional 30-day ceasefire.
It will be monitored mainly by the United States of America and all Europeans that are ready to contribute, and that will enable to launch immediately the work of negotiations to build a robust and lasting peace.
If Moscow does not agree, Ukraine and its allies, including the US, will impose new sanctions on Russia.
And it needs to be clear, if Russia denies this ceasefire that would be the basis for negotiations that could start immediately, we will continue to defend Ukraine and we will continue to ratchet up pressure on Russia. Ukraine today is paying the highest price, the blood price, fighting for the values of independence and freedom. But Ukraine is not alone today.
EU foreign ministers are gathering in London for a meeting with their UK counterpart, David Lammy. According to Reuters, support for Ukraine and greater regional defense cooperation are among the main topics for discussion. The talks are taking place ahead of the UK Prime Minister's summit next week with EU leaders. Lammy is expected to announce further sanctions targeting actors supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine, reported Reuters.
Right now, we have seen what Putin has said, but what they have done, overnight, again, over 100 drone attacks on Ukraine. So in order to go into any peace talk, there has to be ceasefire. And we also need to see that Russia wants this to show goodwill to sit down and talk to Ukrainians. So it is not there. We have to put pressure on Russia to really want peace and to sit down and to talk with Ukraine.
Well, if he yet again rejects a ceasefire, then the logical conclusion is that pressure should be brought to bear, not on the victim of aggression, but on the perpetrator of aggression until he feels the pain and becomes more reasonable.
There must be a ceasefire before the start of any direct Ukraine-Russia negotiations, stressed the German Foreign Minister Johann Vadeful. Ahead of the meeting in London, he emphasized that this is a crucial week to take a step toward peace negotiations, where Zelenskyy has already made strides, and the expectation is for Putin to do the same.
Germany now expects a ceasefire from Russia and then a willingness to negotiate. We will discuss this again here today. We will also take a look at the current situation with our Ukrainian colleague. I am quite sure the European position is clear. It will make it clear that we can have momentum and that Europe can finally return to a situation where peace can prevail.
A Russian suicide drone struck a car with civilian energy workers in Sumy, killing one, reported the regional military administration on Monday. According to government officials, at least 3 more people were wounded as a result of the strike. The regional prosecutor's office confirmed the death of the driver, a 44-year-old, with an official investigation being launched. Ukrainian prosecutors are gathering evidence at the scene to establish an indictment into the war crime that led to civilian casualties, reported the Sumy district police department. Also on Monday, a Russian drone hit a civilian freight train in the Donetsk region, wounding its operator, reported Ukrainian Railways. The Russian UAV reportedly struck the locomotive, with shrapnel wounding the operator's leg. The injured railway worker was hospitalized and his condition is currently not life-threatening. The company emphasized that attacks on railway infrastructure and its rolling stock continue, despite ongoing international efforts around ceasefire proposals. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Air Force reported that it had down 55 Russian Shahed-type suicide drones overnight on May 11. 30 of them were jammed without causing casualties. China supports all efforts that will lead to peace in Ukraine and hopes for all parties to reach a fair and lasting peace. This was stated by the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson. At a press briefing on Monday, he was asked about the 30-day ceasefire proposed by Ukraine, its European partners and the United States.
China's position has always been clear. We support all efforts committed to peace and hope that the relevant parties will continue to reach a fair, lasting and binding peace agreement acceptable to all parties through dialogue and negotiations, so as to ultimately achieve a political solution to the Ukrainian crisis.
European Defense Commissioner Andrius Kubilius called for more integration between the European and Ukrainian defense industries on Monday, reported Reuters. Speaking at a defense industry forum, Kubilius said that an EU-Ukraine task force will convene for the first time on May 12 to assist integration to facilitate development of joint projects.
To stop Putin, we need to produce more. We need to innovate more, and we need to do that together, in the European Union and with Ukraine. And in the future, when Europe will need to take the whole responsibility for the defense of the European continent, Ukraine will be the most important part of the new European security architecture.
The commissioner, also Lithuania's former prime minister, said Europe can learn from Ukraine's innovative industry, pointing to advances in drone technology and artificial intelligence. If a 30-day ceasefire is not established in Ukraine by the end of Monday, Berlin, together with its European partners, will begin the process of preparing new sanctions against Russia. This was reported by Bild, citing the German government spokesperson Stefan Cornelius. Speaking at noon, he stressed that there were still 12 hours until the end of the day, adding, however, that the clock is ticking. According to him, if Moscow doesn't implement a truce by midnight, then preparations for sanctions will be initiated at the level of political advisors. Cornelius also recalled that at the same time, the 17th sanctions package against Russia is already being prepared in Brussels. 3 diplomats from Russia's consulate in Kraków have been declared persona non grata in Poland. This news comes just after Warsaw suspended operations of Russia's consulate in the southern Polish city. As the foreign minister Radoslaw Sikorski posted on his X page, the closure was finalized due to results of an investigation of an arson attack on a shopping center in the country's capital. He stressed that evidence showed Russian special services had carried out this act of sabotage.
It is outrageous, but sadly not surprising. I want to remind you that previously I also closed the Russian consulate in Poznan after a previous act of sabotage in Poland, an attempted arson of a factory in Wrocław. Yesterday, the Ministers of Interior and Justice showed or declared that we have indisputable evidence that this enormous fire at Mariwilska was conducted on behalf of Russian forces. It was a miracle no one died there, so it's not behavior we can tolerate.
Sikorski also recalled that more than 2,000 Russian diplomats are working in the European Union, adding that many of them perform tasks inconsistent with their status. The day before, on May 11, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk publicly accused Russian intelligence services of orchestrating the massive fire that destroyed the Mariwilska 44 shopping center in Warsaw on May 12 last year. He vowed justice for the deliberate act of sabotage.